All right, next up, OnePlus news. We talked about the OnePlus Nord situation. Now, it's looking to me that maybe they took our advice on the Nord naming. I don't know. Because now they opened OnePlus themselves, opened a social media account. What was it? I saw it on Instagram. Yeah, an Instagram page with the title OnePlus Lite Z Thing. OnePlus Lite Z Thing. And they're hinting at this new lineup, this new line of smartphones. Now, maybe they're goofing on us and they're still going to use the Nord name once we finally get there. The color appears to be different. We have Pete Lau posting, what is that, turquoise? Teal? Who knows the difference between turquoise and teal? You know? Who actually can point at the difference? If you can, that is some talent. Anyway, Pete Lau goes on Twitter. He says, who's ready for something new from OnePlus? Hashtag new beginnings. And they're all posting new beginnings. Pete's posting new beginnings. Carl is posting new beginnings. I think somebody else was in the original post. There's 3 guys saying that. Probably 3 founders of OnePlus. I don't know if I know the 3rd guy. Anyway, so they call it OnePlus Z, OnePlus Lite Z Thing, which seems to me to imply, there's a couple of posts there as well, but it seems to me to imply that maybe they go with one of those names, but they could also just go with Nord. The main thing, the important thing here is they have basically confirmed they're going to go back to their roots and create this budget smartphone that people want. Now, granted, this article on Tom's Guide seems to dispute the crazy low price tag that others had suggested as low as $300. Instead, the suggestion here is between $499 and $649 for this upcoming device. To put it up against, to pit it against the iPhone SEs of the world, the Google Pixel 4a or whatever, if Google ever gets around to it, whatever the A series of devices from Google Pixel and other mid-range devices in the world. So that's the good news. We got with a little bit of a confirmation there will be a budget OnePlus. The bad news, they go on to say that it's going to launch in Europe and India first before ever coming to North America. So the North American fans are going to be upset about that. They're lacking options here. Though, obviously, North America more inclined towards the flagship price point as well. I mean, I don't have the data in front of me here, but the whole carrier makeup and way in which people consume devices is a bit different with the subsidies and all the rest of it, as opposed to places like India where it's more typically purchased outright and therefore the cost sensitivity plays a bigger role for obvious reasons. Different markets, different price points. But I actually think that's changing even here in North America with cost sensitivity. And I think it makes sense because the value proposition, the major value proposition is no longer at the flagship level. We have this really robust mid-range happening. So I would hope to see this thing come to North America as well sooner than later at that $500 price point. That would be amazing. Rumored specs, just to recap, they may give up the AMOLED display on their other models to get that price point down, going with LCD. A lot of the competitors at that price point also going with LCD, so that wouldn't be that different at the $500 price point. Snapdragon 765G, which we mentioned previously, mid-range processor, makes a lot of sense. 5G support, lots of RAM at that price point. 12 gigs of RAM is the rumor. 48 megapixel sensor, couple of other cameras. Maybe even the 4-camera array, which we talked about on the previous clip with the fancy Twitter leak that had the number of O's on there and the big N to indicate the Nord thing. So, yeah, whatever they end up calling it, it's happening. It's very exciting. OnePlus fans are going to rejoice. It doesn't change the fact to me that I don't really need another smartphone brand, but I get it. All the other manufacturers have some version of this, right? Wait, Samsung doesn't have a sub-brand, do they? Samsung, Apple, Google, no sub-brands. But Oppo, sub-brand. Huawei, sub-brand. Xiaomi sub-brand. I saw these comments when I was talking about the OnePlus. They say, what's the difference? We have Redmi and Realme, and we got the whole thing. We got everything going on elsewhere. So, of course, OnePlus should do the same thing. But, man, we're talking about OnePlus, and now you're talking about sub-brands inside of sub-brands. Although they denied the BBK thing, you still have Oppo, OnePlus, Nord. It's a whole hierarchy happening here. It's a whole cascading number of brands within brands.
It's a whole family.
Brand family.
Branches.
I hope they keep the OnePlus piece in there and don't try to act like it's a whole thing. It looks like they will at least keep the OnePlus piece in there. Ideally, for me, they go with Lite. I think a OnePlus 8 Lite sounds cool. I don't mind using that. I'm happy about it. I don't need a whole different brand. That's just me. That's what I vote for. Or OnePlus Z sounds super cool. But it may cannibalize the flagship stuff because I could have a OnePlus 8 or a OnePlus Z. I'm taking Z all day. You see how that goes, Will?
Yeah, that's a cool letter.
It's a cool letter. So anyway, maybe that's the reason they can't go with Z, because it's too cool for school.